What's up, everybody? Welcome to Game Moose episode 139. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Turford, alongside the Broccoli Brock McLaughlin.
I can tell today's gonna be real weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I
weird.
got the giggle fits.
Clearly.
We're like holding our breath. I had to hold my breath while we were doing our little clean audio.
This is also like the
there.
third time we've tried to start the show, too, so clearly it's going to be a weird one.
Hey, man.
The disembodied voice you also just heard, the ghost with the most, Drew McMillan.
Yeah, I haunt your dreams.
Drew looks
Nightmares.
like he just spent a week in Vegas right now.
Yeah, I feel
and he lost it all.
burned out. I survived there was an attempt coup d'etat at my condo board. It was real interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's the right way.
Was that interesting?
It was. There's this like crazy woman who nobody likes who got kicked off. Somehow she managed to get herself voted on the board and kicked off. And this is the third time this has happened. And all the people at the end of the meeting were like, hey, can we figure out a way for this not to happen ever again? Can we like just bar her from joining the board? So yeah, condos are interesting. Democracy in action. And that's pretty much consumed my entire life.
I mean,
And that's the new podcast, Democracy in Action, where we talk nothing but democracy.
That's right.
the new spin-off of Game Moose, Democracy Moose.
On today's episode, we're talking about corporate democracy, or democracy for shareholders, and how many votes. Should it be proportional votes or just one vote per person?
Your story reminds me of that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry's dad gets impeached from the condo board because of the insurgents among the condo members.
This you joke, but this is condo living. This
Yeah,
is condo
it's
living.
like real life.
It's very political.
I mean, it's so real. Speaking of so real, segue, on this week's show, we're going to talk about Shadow of the Tomb Raider
Yes.
and Spider-Man. We're
Yes.
also going to talk about the Nintendo Direct because there were some interesting announcements and some announcements that made me do this with my arms. You can't see my arms, of course, but you can see. You can imagine a person with my look doing the look with their arms.
He's throwing up his arms in confusion.
Throw your hands up in the air like you just don't care.
I mean, it's true. He doesn't care about most of the stuff, and he is throwing his hands up in the air. But I don't think it's what. I don't think it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
I hate everything.
Okay. I threw up my hands in excitement.
You know what? I'll tell you when I did throw up my hands in excitement. When I got to go see two kick-ass 90s bands, both Prozac and Aqua.
Wow.
Neither of those bands is good though.
Oh,
They're both
fucking-
amazing.
They're dope
Prozac
as fuck.
Solays.
Oh, Prozac is the hot shit. I went for Prozac,
Yeah,
let's be real.
for sure. Well, Aqua does have some hits.
They do, but
I
honestly...
mean, you are a Barbie girl to me, Drew.
Yeah, Life in Plastic is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Aqua was not great to me, in my mind.
I can't imagine them being
Well,
good.
see, that's one of the things about Aqua that I remember from my days in the 2000s when Aqua was, tailing off their career, is that they were always terrible live.
Yeah.
People would always say that, which meant that it was tough for them to progress as a band.
Who would have thought Soren couldn't pull that together? Because we all know that he is the glue that
Sauron?
Sauron.
From Lord of the Rings?
No, Soren from the
hit band.
the Dutch piano player.
Oh,
keyboard
I'm sorry, I
player.
don't know the names of the members of Aqua.
I only know Soren because the girl in the band, the girl's Lena. Because I remember from Barbie Girl, they have like her name in the thing.
Okay.
And I don't remember the bald guy's name, but he was being a real creep because he was like, "Hey, are you single?" to like every single girl there, and I'm like, "Dude, you're like 50."
Was she still hot?
I wasn't that close to the stage.
Okay. I want to find that out. I'm going to be Googling that later on today.
You should. But she did talk about Soren a lot. So she was like, I had Soren here. And I was like, oh, so his name is Soren. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, Soren is the guy who plays the piano or the keyboards or whatever.
There you go.
He's the one who makes the synthesizer sounds. Prozac was fucking dope as hell.
I bet.
They played a lot of stuff from Hot Show.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was just good, man.
As they should. I mean, it's their only one good album.
I mean, their second album had a couple of good things.
It had a few good hits. A lot of bad songs.
Yeah. Let's be real.
Good for them coming back together, making
well,
some money.
I don't actually think they went anywhere. They're one of those bands that just kept going,
They
like
kind of took a
Trouble
mild
Charger.
break.
Yeah, they haven't toured in a while.
Yeah.
They haven't toured in a while.
Yeah.
Fun fact, they are former members of the band The Philosopher Kings.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
the whole story about how the whole show, Hot Show opens with VO talking about it, like they're ancient warriors. They're that were in opposing armies, and they were fighting one day, and then a voice from up on high said they had to make music together and that they would live forever, cursed to try to find true love. It's kind of based somewhat on a real story. They were both in this band together, the Philosopher Kings. And
Which is not a very good band, by the way.
I mean, they have a couple of
I
good
remember
tunes.
their songs.
They have some
They were no bueno.
They have some okay songs. But they didn't like the music they were making in the Philosopher Kings for the most part. And they hated each other. And they were like really like sarcastic and mean to each other. And then one day they just got into a fight and one like knocked the other one out. And they had like a band meeting and they said, okay, we're going to solve this by you guys having to make music together. Like you have to produce some songs, write some songs together. And they got together and they ended up having a blast, wrote like a whole bunch of the songs that ended up in Hot Show. And that's what Prozac became. And but they realized that like it was all based around them like making like fun of like British pop stars. And they're like, well, clearly they're not British pop stars. Right. So that's why they made them into cartoons. So the world's first cartoon band, pre-Gorillaz or any of that shit.
Yeah.
Right there.
Only by like a year, though.
From Canada. Prozac. And they're fucking amazing.
They're not as good as S Club 7, though, Drew.
Wow.
Nobody's as good as S Club 7.
That's true.
Let's be real.
There ain't no party like an S Club party.
No,
We talked about I bring that up because that's like the one band that Drew and I have consistently talked about on the Gamers Podcast. It's
true.
S Club 7.
There has been some
They
S
come
Club
up
talk.
all the time. Or I should say in the early episodes of Game Moves.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, like from episode like 10 and stuff, we would talk about S Club 7 because why not? They had a video game.
Yeah. It was a real good one.
No, not really.
You know what?
I was gonna say real good.
Let's redact that statement.
Real good. The real good is debatable.
I'm gonna publish my S Club 7 in Detroit spec script for
Let's
everybody.
just say this.
I'm going to write that on
Michael
your tombstone.
Jackson has
S Club
better-
had a really good video game.
I was gonna say the Black Eyed Peas and Michael Jackson have had better video games than S Club 7. True. Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade.
Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Jackson has Moonwalker, one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, clearly. But
It has a MIDI version of Smooth Criminal.
what about the Black Eyed Peas The Experience though?
Sure.
Don't you remember that hot jam?
Absolutely not.
That was
I did
that
not.
was the hit sequel to Michael Jackson The Experience from our friends over at Ubisoft.
Remember when they had a hit single using the hard R and we just let them get away with that?
Yeah.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
I did some inappropriate things with that song. Let's just say that I was working for a summer camp at the time. It was not good.
What, Jason Voorhees came to the camp and murdered a bunch of counselors? Is that what
That would be
happened?
great. That would have been way more interesting than what actually happened. A friend of mine worked at a camp for kids with special needs, and he got fired for duct taping a kid into his sleeping bag. A kid with Down syndrome. He duct taped him.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's actually
I take
really
back
mean.
my laugh.
Yeah. To be fair, when he tells me what happened, it was a reasonable thing. The kid kept getting out of his tent, running and jumping into the creek.
Oh, okay.
Into like the flipping river. And he was like, they're like, this kid's going to drown if we don't restrain him until his parents get here. So they did that instead, and he got in big trouble.
Well, I could see why that would
To
be a
be
big
fair, he was like 14 years old. Nobody told him how to deal with this stuff. They were just like, hey, here's a bunch of kids with special needs. I don't know, just make sure they don't drown. And he's like, well, this seems like the best way to do this. You know, it probably wasn't in retrospect, but even still,
They could have just locked the tent.
that's not how tents work.
I mean,
tent has a lock on it. How do you lock a tent?
I haven't been camping in 20 years. I don't know how to
We have
I guess
not evolved.
You put like a little padlock on the
We
zipper,
could
I
go
guess.
make lock tents now. I feel like that's a good business adventure for us.
I mean, I'm sure someone somewhere would buy them.
Have you ever heard the phrase a door, a lock is only as strong as the walls around it?
Sure.
Yeah, well, now you have. Think about it.
Okay.
Locked tents. Why would this be a good idea?
It wouldn't be a good idea. It'd be a terrible idea. But far worse ideas have sold.
That's fair. I can see like trying to sell this to like the weird like festival crowd, the kids who go to like the multi-day festivals in camp. Be like, don't worry, your stuff will be safe.
Yeah,
No one will steal your weed now.
Why does it sound like Elmo? why is the festival announcer Elmo?
Because that's the festival announcer's voice.
You never know.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
that's who's gonna do the infomercial for this awesome tent.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, We're about 10 minutes in the show. And we haven't mentioned a video game yet, other than Black Eyed Peas: The Experience.
And
we should probably talk
S
about
Club 7.
It's a really good
and S Club
video game.
7, and Moonwalker too. We mentioned Moonwalkers. We talked
Lots
a lot
of
about
video
video
games.
games.
This is a great trip down memory lane, guys.
Video
Clearly.
games.
Yeah, music-themed video games.
And of course, we have to, shout out old school Game Moose listeners because we would just talk about stuff like this all the time, like music video games. I think we had one topic where we just talked about music video games.
That would be a good episode.
No, I think we did this one.
Back.
I think we did that. already.
I'll talk about Marky Mark make a music video thing for the Sega CD again.
What about Crisscross? They had a video game too.
Yeah,
Wow.
They'll make you jump.
Wow.
that was making the music
Nice.
video
As well. That was part of the same series.
It was the Marky Mark one's better though.
Well,
You
clearly.
can jerk off to that one.
Okay.
Let's be real.
I mean, legally you can't to the other one. That's just wrong.
I get, yeah.
That's morally and ethically wrong.
I still can't believe there was a group that was like the most popular group in the world at the time that wore their pants backwards on purpose.
That's a pretty good look. I think we should bring that back.
I kind of feel like that's like peak millennial shit too. Like
Yeah.
that sounds like something that us stupid kids would do now.
Like, it's hard to pee. But I mean,
Of course, I say us stupid kids, and I'm the oldest person in the room. But
Yeah.
I had some kid giving me shit on the internets on the weekend where he was like, "You look like you're the same age as me. I'm 22. I know the world." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I could be your dad. Shut the fuck
How
up."
are you doing talking to people? Like, did you have like some Twitch chat or something where some kid was yelling at you?
Absolutely, you know how I do.
Jesus.
Jumping on Twitch, being like, "What up, 22-year-olds? Tell me how you do."
smash F!
Smash that bell. You're going to get some Mountain Dew, whatever that new flavor
Drew
is.
spends a lot of his free times on Twitch streams,
I
just
do.
commenting.
Yeah.
I do. That's
Commenting away.
Ask Capri knows all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Fuck you, Capri.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's just not
That's
allowed.
what I go
That's
into.
tough.
Yeah,
That's
I
not allowed. on
like
this
I like
podcast.
trolling Capri.
You
I
took
do
it-
too.
You took it one too far.
I do too.
Anyways,
Hi, Capri.
Brock,
Yep.
tell us about Spider-Man.
Um,
Because neither one of us have played it.
Well,
So you're the point of
you
interest. for Spider-Man.
you reviewed it first of all.
yeah.
What score did you give it? How many Brocks out of Brock did you? Brock
It's
it?
an okay video game.
Just
It's
okay?
It's okay.
I thought it was.
People are really making a big deal about it. It's
People
a
are talking about like
very
this is like God's gift to video games.
it's a very okay video game. And I love Spider-Man, but I don't know, I didn't like the Peter Parker they used. I thought he was so boring. The voice actor
He
wasn't
does
very
have
good.
weird hair.
The
let's just-
storyline was very, very foreseeable. It was like beat by beat, like, okay, I could expect this. Like, it was like Sam Raimi's like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything edgy or, whoa, didn't see that coming.
But they had Mr. Negative.
Yeah. Mr. Negative, it came across better than I thought he would. He was still a weird villain to use.
Yeah.
The
Do you
game,
think they're building their way to anti-venom? See, anti-venom is what happens when a sample of the symbiote gets exposed to Mr. Negative's negative energy and then goes on to Eddie Brock and he becomes anti-venom, a very stable but very murderous superhero.
no, but Venom is not in the game.
I'm actually very surprised that you know this much about anti-venom.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I like Spider-Man a lot. Also, I'm going to say this right now. As a big Spider-Man fan, I'm fucking sick of Peter Parker, man.
Yeah.
Like, we have, like, Peter Parker and his origin story, or, like, Peter Parker and, like, the story of him, like, fighting against, like, semi-father figure in Norman Osborn, or like, mentor in Doc Ock. Like, we don't need that story over and over and over and over and over again. Like, we fucking get it. Give us somebody different. Like, do Miles or do Silk. Or
And Miles is in the game, and those levels, like every time you play as Miles, I fucking hated it. Like
play
I wanted
as
to,
Miles?
I wanted to
That's
skip
cool.
that. Like I did not like. They're like really bad stealth missions. You do the same with MJ too. And there's only 3 different enemy types. So
you play as
Yeah,
Miles,
you-
but he doesn't have superpowers?
No, you just stealth around and avoid people. It's really boring, and it's not good stealth mechanics. And there's only 3 enemy types in the entire game, so you fight the same things over and over. It's very repetitive, and like all the warehouses are identical. Like they're the exact same build, so they all look exactly the same.
But it's New York.
Same layout?
Same layout and everything.
Yeah.
Every single time. So you have to go to enemy bases and like
Oh.
break them down, and every enemy base is exactly the same.
Oh, so it's just
every
like
time, and you only
Dragon
fight.
Age 2.
It's just there's a lot of things I think people are overlooking, and they're like, "Ooh, it's fun," and it is fun, but it isn't the greatest game.
But also, like, I think part of
okay.
that comes too from the fact that, number one, there hasn't been a Spider-Man game in forever. And all the previous Spider-Man games we got weren't that great. Like Shattered Dimensions, I think was the last really good Spider-Man game.
Spider-Man 2 is the best.
Yeah. Or I mean,
I love Shattered Dimensions. That's the one that had like the
Ben Reilly suit and stuff.
and
right?
it also had the
like Noir Spider-Man.
Noir
Yeah.
Spider-Man. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I want to say like Batman or like the Batman by Gaslight thing. The
Yeah.
book with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But besides Spider-Man, the one based off the cartoon from Neversoft, and then Spider-Man 2, I think those are the two best 3D interpretations of Spider-Man. And then his 2D outings, I think he had a lot of good ones, like Spider-Man
Yeah.
versus the Kingpin was really good on the Genesis.
Maximum
and then
Carnage.
Maximum Carnage.
Maximum fucking Carnage.
I played that a couple weeks ago, and it's still
Yeah,
awesome.
That game's so sweet.
So
Separation anxiety.
yeah. So there's been a lot of really good Spider-Man games, but there hasn't been one lately. So I think that's where like the excitement for this is coming from, and people are giving it maybe overlooking some of that stuff simply because the fact that they love Spider-Man, and it's just like the first time we've seen a good Spider-Man game in forever. I think that comes.
It's
I think that's
fun.
part of it.
I'm assuming we'll get a sequel real soon.
Yeah.
The assets are done.
Or
They set up a bunch of stuff.
And we know that DLC is coming really soon too.
Oh,
Like
that's a big thing too. There's the DLC should have been in the game, and they talk about it, and then the levels just don't pop,
No.
and they're there, but they didn't put it in.
So
it's
what
like they
you're saying-
pulled it back like at the last minute.
So what you're saying is basically someone who hasn't played Spider-Man should almost wait till the DLC's out, play the DLC as part of the game.
I feel like
and it probably
everyone's
is-
played Spider-Man by this point.
Well, I haven't.
I know,
And neither
it's
is
the
Drew.
fastest selling game in the this year.
You
you know why? Because what the fuck else are you going to play this month?
Yeah,
Like
Well-
either
Well, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
Either you play the Taken King, or not the
Yeah.
Taken King,
Forsaken.
Forsaken, which is like, let's be real, it's not bringing in a lot of new Destiny players.
No.
Yeah.
Or you're playing Tomb Raider, which Ryan's going to talk about in a bit.
Yeah.
It's not doing super well.
Well, it's just Tomb Raider's never really sold well, but again, we'll get into that when we
Yeah,
talk about
we'll,
Tomb
we'll
Raider.
get into the details.
But
Like, what are you gonna play? Fucking Madden? Like,
Well, there's also
NBA
one other-
2K19.
There's one
that's
other
the
big game you
shit!
didn't mention: World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth.
right? All these things are like games that already have
Yeah.
all these other things that are around it. Are other games that don't have like a huge fan base or don't have like sort of like the mass appeal. In terms of like games that like big release, mass appeal, Spider-Man's it, and then everyone else has gotten the fuck out of the way for like Red Dead, right?
Like the next big date is October 2nd, because
Yeah.
that's when we get Assassin's Creed, Forza, and Mega Man 11, as well as some other games. Like a lot of games are coming out that day,
Yeah.
and then Call of Duty is, I believe, the next week, and then we have Red Dead after that.
So as far as September releases go, I mean, this is it, right?
Yeah.
All these people are like, whoa, what about Spider-Man? But it sounds like it's a pretty middling game. But fun fact, you can if you ask nicely, you can get your proposal put into the video game.
Segue. That's topic 2. So Drew, tell us about that. See, you
so-
brought it up.
There's a gentleman who asked via Twitter, tweeted at the developers and said like, hey, can you like put my proposal for my girlfriend in the video game? And they said, sure, okay, we can make that happen. And so they did, which of course the irony is like he did it via Twitter, so like that was already public, so it's not like she didn't know what was going on. We'll get into that. So it was put into the game, and then as soon as the game came out, like Kotaku and a few other people ran this article saying proposal in Spider-Man has sad ending, and he said that she left him for his brother like 2 days before the game came out. Turns out that's also not the whole fucking story.
Yeah.
Not even
Because
close.
there was another article
Yeah.
where they interviewed her.
Yeah, so like she reached out and said, no, that's not true. I didn't leave him for his brother, and there's there's more going on here. And then there's another article that sort of like dug more into it. And like it was one of those things where it was like, the people who ran the first stories, like maybe you should have interviewed both people before you did this.
Instead of just running a story on a Sunday afternoon
Yeah.
with like no fact checking or like background,
Yeah, just taking a big old dump on someone who like it turns out had no fault.
She was embarrassed by it. It sounded like he was a horrible person in a bad relationship for years.
Yeah.
And gaslighted her for so long.
Yeah, she said that that he was like abusive,
Yeah.
like emotionally abusive, that she didn't like video games at all. This wasn't her idea. This was like he's a streamer and was kind of doing this to try to drum up some like I don't know, like some self promotion, which is super fucking sleazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole thing about like his brother, it's his half brother, and they're just friends. She says like they're not having a relationship. Like as a matter of fact,
they just apparently spent a lot of time together because they're really good friends.
Well, allegedly the streamer guy sent the half brother to go check on her after they broke up, to presumably for not great reasons. With like, well, make sure she's not like fucking around or something. I can just see that happening. But anyway, so he sent him to go check in on her, and then they developed a friendship, and that's about it. You know. So of course, what do you think happened here?
The internet, being the internet, and gamers, mostly being terrible, shitty people,
And
attacked her.
Yeah.
Fucking attacked her as the problem, and not him.
Yeah.
And he comes across as a hero in this story.
He's like,
and
oh,
she's like
she
totally
humiliated me.
Yeah.
Oh.
When he's in the wrong, don't be mean to women. Treat that guy like shit because he's an idiot.
So she's like deleted all of her public social media.
Yeah.
Like anything sort of like Twitter and stuff like that. I don't know if she's still on Facebook and shit, but
She's probably gone. She
yeah.
probably ran for the hills.
yeah, so she just got rid of like all of her social media because she was just getting inundated with just garbage, just vitriol. So as the internet likes to do, which is like kind of fucked because it feels like this is just one story after another of streamers.
Isn't this like the third failed marriage proposal in a game? There was one with BioShock 2 and something else.
Jesus.
There's been more.
Really?
This isn't the first one. They've all been disasters.
Yeah, hey, like maybe don't do this.
Guys, just propose like in person, not in a video game.
Well, I mean, this is the thing that I mean, having had this conversation with a lot of people, especially women, it's like a lot of people don't want there to be a big show of it, right? Because that's not about it. That's more about you than it is about the proposal, right? It's like it's a hey, look at me kind of thing. I mean, it's. So usually when they're doing these kinds of like quote unquote overtures, people think that they're doing it like they're going to save the relationship or something like that. But it ends up being so like wrongheaded. Like you're coming at it from a place of like being a self-centered asshole already. I don't know. This shit's fucked, man. Like it's abundantly clear too that like it really seems to me like this guy tried to leverage this just to get press, right? And it's just sort of like this continued, like streamers and YouTubers who don't know how to act in public, like who have this kind of huge audience, not knowing how to interact with people. You know, there's another person we will talk about who there was an incident over the weekend, it was the same sort of last weekend. It was the same sort of thing, right? It was just like handled very poorly by that person. It's like, just, I don't know, man. Like if you're going to be a streamer, and as a matter of fact, Kotaku ran a really good article about this. They did a really in-depth piece of just like the demands on these people are insane.
Yeah.
None of them are like the vast majority of these people who are just like ordinary Joe Blow people none of them are prepared for this shit, right? To be
YouTube burnout's a real thing.
Yeah, to be in this. Well, this thing was all basically about Twitch burnout.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the
same kind of idea because like you have to stick to a schedule. It's super demanding.
You have to play the same game every day.
Yeah. So there's an article about like the girl who's doing Just Dance and how she burned out. There's another one with this streamer named Mystic and how like she started like ignoring her kids and like was like hated herself, but like felt that she had to stream all the goddamn time. Like the shit's fucked, man. Like. And I don't blame the community and I don't blame the streamers. It's how these systems, the systems are set up to reward people who like basically the less you stop working, the more you benefit. That's fucking nuts. Like people need to take a break. Like if it's, if you've got like a system that like rewards people for working 18 hours a day, every single day, Monday to Sunday, like that's nuts. Right? And then the only way to compete is it becomes this like race to the bottom, right? It's fucked up. Shit's, I don't know.
And is it worth it? It's not worth it.
No. You gotta throw your thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah.
Just be nicer to your favorite streamers, okay? If they want to play a different game, let them play a different game.
Well, if they want to take a day off.
Also, like I kind of want to see both Twitch and YouTube and other like content platforms create a system where it doesn't necessarily like it doesn't require that you have to be that you have to commit so much of your time in order to even stay relevant. Because what happens is just people fall underneath fall off of the I don't know, the
Well, it's very much a
like the search parameters and stuff like this. So like people, if you fall off the front page, then that's it.
Well, it's part of the problem of there just being too many people out there. It's tough to compete, and you really have to stand out. And if you don't stick to a schedule, like if you miss one day or something like that, you lose people. And the more you lose people, the less you're relevant, which makes you less money. It's a whole cyclical thing.
Yeah, and it's all about the algorithm, right? Like you have to play the algorithm.
Yeah.
Like the more you post, the more you're up in the algorithm. The longer your stuff is, the higher you're up in the algorithm. The more people watch, the higher. I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's probably some middle ground that these platforms can create systems where it's not entirely just based on these sort of like these systems that they're creating, because it doesn't seem to. It seems to benefit the viewer, but it doesn't seem to benefit anyone else.
Well, we're also seeing some of that come in with the more streamers moving towards using services like Patreon to sort of make their money. Because the idea is if people are paying on a monthly basis through Patreon, it almost doesn't matter, as you don't have to kill yourself over a strict schedule of going every single day for like 8-10 hours a day, because you're making your money a different way.
But I kind of feel like the only way that works is if you already have some level of popularity.
No, I know that's what I mean. That's what you see with more established people, and I think there needs to be a way for that type of thing to trickle down to other people, like people who are just starting out.
Well, this is what some of my favorite YouTubers are, like all former journalists. Like I love Danny O'Dwyer. And I love Cloth Map and a few other things. And like those guys, they're publishing as much as they can. But honestly, they don't hit the top of my YouTube recommendations, even though I subscribe to them, because they don't post as regularly as like BuzzFeed and shit like that, which are always the top of my recommendations because I love watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, right? So like I get all these like BuzzFeed and Tasty things because I like watching food videos because they publish every 5 seconds, right? And then also becomes the matter of like, how do you compete with like these giant multinational media conglomerates that are now producing content on the platforms? Right. And then how do you compete against people who have been established in the platform since it was like since day one? There's a reason why I think PewDiePie just got knocked off of #1, and he's been #1 for years.
You got knocked off?
Yeah, there's another channel, some kids channel or some shit. Yeah. Anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah, shit fucked.
Yeah, which even begs the question: how do you even get into this in the first place? Like, besides just basically, like you said, working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, how else do you even get noticed?
Well,
it's tough to carve out a niche.
This is why I'm creating a channel where it's just an IRL channel, and it's just a camera in my house, a series of cameras, and just auto switches
like Big
around.
Brother.
No, just like I'm going back to your old days. It's Jenny Cam.
Oh wow!
Yeah, remember Jenny Cam?
Nope.
That was like one of the first live streaming things. She was like, "I'm a cute college girl in Florida, and I'm gonna put like 8 cameras in my house and just see everything I'm doing. Maybe you'll see me fuck her take a shower."
Ooh, did she?
I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah.
Cool.
It was basically just pornography.
Oh, cool.
But I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay.
I thought for a second there
on Twitch.
Okay.
It's just gonna be called. It's not IRL. It's just gonna be called RL. Drew RL. This is real life.
Cool.
Why don't you instead just take like a camera and just attach it to Ripley, your dog?
That'd be good.
And just have the Ripley cam, and that just be a 24-hour stream.
It'd just be a lot of her sleeping.
The Ripley network.
So like you'll see her sleeping by the door, and then on the couch, and then back by the door, and then maybe on her bed, and then back on the couch. Just real good watching.
One of my favorite.
I mean, everybody sleeps.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that some streamers do is they'll take, if they have pets, they'll have like a camera on their pet.
Yeah.
You can watch their pet while you watch them play.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sitting there staring at them, like, why haven't you fed me in 16 hours?
Or you can see like your favorite streamer's fish tank. You can see other little fish swimming around.
I do like fish tanks.
None of this sounds exciting.
No.
Have you not heard of like Netflix? It has hours and hours of quality content.
Yeah.
I don't actually
that new show from the Avatar people, the Dragon Prince or whatever. I want to check that out. Sounds good.
Disenchantment?
No, Dragon Prince. It's Avatar, The Last Airbender. Those guys. They did a new show just launched. I watched Disenchantment. It's not very good.
It's not very good at all. It's very not good.
Yeah, it's like a good 5 out of 10 for me. Mm-hmm. Last 2 episodes are okay, but the rest of it is kind of
gets
garbage.
way better at the end.
Yeah.
New season of Iron Fist, also not good.
But the first season was so good. How could they? How could they not hit the mark?
They got a new showrunner, but it did not help.
I heard that it's better than the first season.
It's better, but anything would have been better than the first season. It could have been an episode. Like, this whole thing was really... But the ending! Whoo, boy! Best finale ever.
Did he put the mask on and fight a dragon?
No. Yeah, the ending is unreal. I don't want to spoil it,
Okay.
but he's like... Yeah, he's like the Iron Fist from the comics now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Iron Fist from the comics sucked.
No, he didn't. No.
I mean, if you didn't like him in the comics, you really wouldn't like the show. Like,
He's like one of my least favorite Marvel
Really?
characters.
Wait, which version of Iron Fist though?
the one with the stupid yellow mask.
Yeah.
There's three.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's Danny Rand.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other guy's name. The other guy's way better.
Mm-hmm.
He's around.
Because I only know Danny Rand. From
No.
the comics.
Yeah, Danny Rand's a little bitch.
Yeah.
I understand why I don't like Iron
But he's
Fist.
dope. He fights so well.
He's like
Kung Fu.
He's like whiny Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're essentially the same.
But he doesn't have ninjas. He's not a ninja, so I care less about him.
But he has a dragon living
He fights.
inside him.
He fights ninjas.
He fights ninjas.
But he's not a ninja himself.
No, because that's the whole thing. Is they fight ninjas.
That's why Daredevil's cooler, because Daredevil at heart is a ninja.
He fights ninjas as well. They're like the villain of that entire universe are the ninjas.
Daredevil doesn't even know who he's fighting. He could be fighting anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't. He can't see.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It doesn't matter how black your pajamas are. He doesn't care because he can't see them. Yeah, he doesn't know if it's a ninja or a biker. It doesn't matter.
I just want everyone to know I really like ninjas.
They're just soft bags.
We know you like ninjas.
Yeah.
And ninja games are all the rage next year.
Yeah,
That's so true, actually.
yeah.
To be fair, I played a couple good ninja games this year, too.
There's also that Joan of Arc game that you played that's got ninjas.
The Messenger?
What?
It doesn't actually involve Joan of Arc, but it's called The Messenger.
So I'm making fun of that.
I have that downloaded.
Just like the movie.
I've never played it.
That game is awesome.
Ryan really likes
Okay.
the Messenger with
Cool.
Mila Jovovich.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
She's in all my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2,
Resident Evil 1's good.
Resident Evil 3.
I worked on Resident Evil 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that the one where they used City Hall?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
they
it
burned down?
was shot in
It
Toronto.
was literally like
They're all shot in
Raccoon
Toronto,
City
aren't they?
is Toronto.
The last two were shot in South Africa, I think. Last one or last two. Last one, maybe. And the first one was shot in BC, I think.
Yeah.
We live in Raccoon City, though.
Yeah, this is Raccoon
That's the
City.
thing.
Cool.
Officially, Toronto was nuked.
There is a lot of
Because of the
zombies
zombies.
here.
I also love the fact, too, that there are many
Corporate
shots
zombies.
where the...
Democracy!
I also love in that movie, too, how there's many shots with the CN Tower in the background.
Yes.
I've never seen one of them movies.
But then when they do the overhead shot of the city, it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they
Really?
At one point they thought it would be a good idea to like digitally remove the CN Tower so people wouldn't know that it's Toronto, and then at a certain point they were just like, fuck it, let's just have her running down the side of City Hall.
But there are so many shots with the tower in the shot, but it's not in the city. That's why it's weird.
They gave up. They didn't have enough of an effects budget to do it. That's what happened.
That's funny.
Yeah, the original plan was not for them to lean hard into the it's actually Toronto thing.
There's also the CBC buildings also in that movie too.
Yeah.
It's an abandoned hospital.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just winners, man. Nothing but winners. Hey Ryan, did you also play video games?
I played a really good video game, guys.
Is it really good?
It's a really good video
It's
game.
getting really mixed reviews.
It
Ryan.
is getting really mixed reviews between 3s and 10s.
That's a pretty
Out
wide
of 10.
fucking swing. Dude.
Yeah. So the game we're talking about, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I finished it last night. I've beaten the game.
Okay.
I've had the game for 2 days and I've finished it because I
Is
basically...
that because you were really, really into it and spent like 18 hours playing it, or because it's like a 2.5 hour long game?
I couldn't put the controller down.
Cool.
It was very, very, very hard to pry myself away from that game. I played 13 hours in 2 days.
So
While also going to
short.
work. While also going to work.
what was the big twist at the end? Was it that we're all Lara Croft on the inside, or what's the deal there?
No, so the idea is Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the third game in the reboot trilogy of Tomb Raider. The quote unquote Survivor trilogy.
Yeah, the torture.
Where basically it's like Lara Croft, the story of how Lara Croft became the Lara Croft, essentially. Like how she became the character she is in the original Tomb Raider.
Yeah, the plucky crop top, big boob.
You can play as that one.
Or basically
liposuction lips.
Basically a female Indiana Jones that isn't in it to bring things bring things back to America to put in a museum, nor is she like Nathan Drake who is out to steal things. She's a character that who's rich, who's basically doing this for kicks.
Yeah, she wants to continue to amass her personal fortune.
No. She doesn't steal any of the artifacts. Like, she doesn't take them at home and sell them. She already has a massive fortune. So she basically goes out there for the thrill of exploring.
What does she do with the artifacts?
Well, she leaves them in the tombs.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she doesn't actually steal the artifacts from tombs.
I mean, she does in previous games.
She does steal something in this game.
She fights weird zombie monsters.
She stole your heart, it sounds like.
She steals weird zombie monsters.
Well, no, I mean, Lara Croft is one of my favorite video game characters.
Are there dinosaurs in this game?
There are no dinosaurs in this game.
Are there dinosaurs in any of the games?
There is in Tomb Raider 1.
Yeah.
That's one of the first enemies you fight is a Tyrannosaurus.
No, I'm talking about the reboot trilogy, not the
there's no
original.
dinosaurs.
Not the reboot trilogy. No.
Okay, well then fuck it.
Well, to be fair,
this isn't
the only reason you fight them in the original trilogy is because you go to like an area that hasn't been touched by humans in years, and dinosaurs didn't get wiped out because it's in like this subterranean cave almost.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
you don't shoot dinosaurs with guns in any of these new games?
No.
Have you not played any of them?
No.
Oh.
I played
man.
5 minutes of...
I like the second
The
one.
last two.
I just have zero interest to open the third one.
Yeah. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider is still probably my favorite of the three of them.
Okay.
But Shadow is a close second because let's break this down because first of all, the Tomb Raider reboot, I liked it, but the ending kind of falls off at the end. Like again, the thing to know about the new Tomb Raider games is they're very much open world Metroidvania games, but the open worlds aren't super open. Like they're kind of like interconnected small open worlds is how it works, which is why I almost prefer them over something like Spiderman, like a big open world game like that, because there are not as many distractions. I like how everything's kind of like uniquely like crafted in each area, and each area feels different than the last one you're in. Except in this game, where it basically mostly takes place in a jungle in Peru, essentially. You're going to a couple of different villages, basically to stop the big bad guy in this trilogy, Trinity. And yes, I say trilogy as in the new story wraps up with this game. Like, this is meant to be the end of the trilogy, because whatever they're doing next will either take place after the original Tomb Raider games, like basically after she's like a seasoned adventurer, or it might just be a reboot of that.
So, like, if she's just doing this for fun, who's the bad guy and why does she care?
So the bad guy is Trinity. It's an organization.
Okay.
They're basically almost like the Templars from Assassin's Creed. It's like a good comparison.
Like secret society?
Kind of, yeah. So basically what their
Masons.
what their objective is basically
Illuminati.
to...
Kanye West.
They're trying to remake the world, essentially, is what their goal is, basically by instilling a society where they rule over everyone. Kind of like the Templars in Assassin's Creed.
Or the Illuminati.
Yeah. So basically, at the beginning of this game, and this isn't a spoiler because it's from all the trailers, Laura is trying to stop them from getting a hold of this dagger that's supposed to allow them to remake the world in some way.
Because it's magic?
Yeah.
There's magic in these games?
There are, because Tomb Raider is basically like Indiana Jones in that there's a hint of supernatural, but it leans more into supernatural stuff than Indiana Jones does.
Huh.
So basically...
Oh, right. The second one had some weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was magic in the second one.
Yeah.
They couldn't fit dinosaurs
Forgot about
into
that.
it?
Well, there's like the second one was all about a village of immortal beings,
Right?
Essentially. So in this game, Laura is tricked into stealing the knife at the beginning of the game, so that Trinity doesn't get a hold of it. But this basically triggers the apocalypse. So the world is going to end in 7 days, and Laura basically has to stop the apocalypse from happening. Essentially, like the Mayan apocalypse that was foretold in the Mayan calendar.
That year zero shit.
Yeah,
2012.
Essentially. But
Yeah.
but the reason it didn't happen in 2012 like it was supposed to is because it's a whole thing with the dagger. Anyways, doesn't matter. The story is not super strong, but the main thing that I love about Shadow of the Tomb Raider is it's the fact that it's very much a stealth game. It's very much a Metroidvania game, and this time around it's much more about exploring and puzzles and less focused on the combat from the last couple
Thank God,
games.
because the combat was no good.
The combat is probably the weakest element of the Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
And they heavily de-emphasize the combat, because one of the best things about this game is the beautiful locales, the really interesting puzzles that really make you think about the environments. I mean, there's a light puzzle in this game that I actually like. And Drew knows I hate light puzzles with a passion.
Everybody does. Nobody likes them.
Yeah.
You know, like where you move the mirrors.
Oh, yeah. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
There are also some really interesting challenge tombs in this game, which basically are even more like difficult puzzles that you have to think about. Like, there's a lot of puzzle elements in this game.
Well, this is making me want to play this even less.
Yeah.
Remember the scary mummies from from Zelda. That
Yeah.
You could only
put the light on.
Yeah.
From Ocarina.
Yeah. Those guys were really scary.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Neither did I. Those guys were. Are they scary mummies in these games?
There are no scary mummies in this game.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this.
Yeah.
It's got magic, but no scary mummies. No dinosaurs.
No dinosaurs is a real big buzzkill.
Yeah.
But it's
There's a lot
Are
of
you sure there
Peruvian
wasn't a
villagers.
side
though.
quest with a talking Tyrannosaurus?
If only.
Yeah.
If
I
only.
feel like if you had that one from that Whoopi Goldberg movie where there's
Oh shit! Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Was it something Rex something? Where he's like they're like cops.
Theodore
Yeah,
Rex.
he wears a leather jacket, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure it's Theodore Rex.
Yes.
Theodore
Rex.
it is.
But-
Yes, it is.
This game, while it doesn't have dinosaurs, it has a lot of other references to other Tomb Raider games, which is another thing that, as a longtime Tomb Raider fan, because I've played and beaten every Tomb Raider game in the series, there's a lot of callbacks to other games. Like there's, you can explore Croft Mansion, and there's like a playground setup that's like set up like the training ground in Tomb Raider 2.
Oh yes.
Why is Croft Mansion in Peru?
No, it's not.
It's not in Peru.
It's not Peru.
But there's
never
you
get
actually
that.
go there for a thing that happens in the story. There's also a lot of like references to what ends up happening in Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld. Like there's a lot. Like this is a Tomb Raider fans game, and which is why I think you're seeing mixed reviews of it, because I think some of the people were coming into it after playing like Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was much more combat focused, and coming away disappointed that it wasn't focusing on that. Whereas a lot of the positive reviews I've read are people who have stuck with the series for a long time, and they understand that it's like the Tomb Raider core of the Tomb Raider series has never been about the combat. Like Tomb Raider 1, you barely fight anyone at all. You fight 2 humans in that game.
I
It's
honestly
mostly
had
about
no idea
exploration.
that people followed Tomb Raider. This is shocking to me.
Where people like me are out there. That's why
there must be tens of you.
That's why there are 3 Tomb Raider movies. Because people love this series.
That's
love
so
Lara Croft.
weird to me.
Yeah. And Camilla Luddington, the person who plays Lara Croft, it's totally mocapped like every modern game, of course. And she absolutely kills it as Laura. I can't imagine another person playing Laura because she embodies the character so well. So overall, I think, kind of like Brock is alluding to, I don't know if this is a game that Brock really like, because
Probably not.
you really like you're when you play games, I think you like more combat and less exploration stuff.
Ryan, when you talk about like it's more like a Metroidvania, are you literally getting like items that change how you can move around the environments? Like, do you like a grappling hook or some shit?
Yeah, so you actually get a grappling hook to start the game, but you get upgrades to your grappling hook, you get upgrades to your knife, that allow you to, and your pickaxe, and you get other tools that allow you to basically backtrack and go explore. You'll be like, hey, I see this wall here, but I don't know how to get through it. You can now, you get an item that now allows you to go back.
I have the rocket launcher, classic Metroidvania shit.
There's no rocket launcher in this game, by the way.
Bombs?
No, but you can make bombs. You can make like pipe bombs with stuff you can find in the environment.
Whoa, Lara Croft is some kind of weird criminal.
Well, the modern trilogy of Tomb Raider games is all about her crafting things.
Right.
Because she's a survivor group.
Does she buy a lot of fertilizer? What's going on there?
No, she just finds stuff in the environment that she can make makeshift bombs and Molotov cocktails and stuff out of, which is cool. Or you can make these cool arrows that you shoot into guys with venom from poisonous spiders that then cause them to basically see hallucinations and kill other teammates. It's really cool.
It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
I don't think Lara Croft is a very nice person. She steals things. She's some rich playboy who's doing this for the thrill of what it sounds like murder and theft.
Yeah. But she murders way less people than someone like Nathan Drake does.
Yeah, but Nathan Drake is murdering by necessity.
Is he though? Because he's mostly there just to steal shit.
Usually he gets there, he steals stuff, and then people try to murder him, and he shoots his way out of it.
But that's kind of what happens here. She's not out to intentionally kill people. Although, again, they've been building up the story.
But she doesn't have to. Nathan was dirt poor. He was an orphan.
She has to do this to stop the apocalypse.
Which, you told me her motivation is for the thrill of it.
That's true. She is usually there for the thrill of it. There is also this overarching story about the apocalypse. Yeah.
All right.
Which is different in this game than other games. But playing this made me feel like it really feels like a classic Tomb Raider game and not a modern Tomb Raider game.
Huh.
Which, again, I know is going to be a big turnoff for a lot of people. But for people who have stuck with the series for a long time, I think you're going to really like it. So that's my take on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think it's awesome, but I can totally understand why people don't love it as well. But I do think if you're someone who's a longtime Tomb Raider fan, I think you're going to really like it. So let's move on, because we're kind of running out of time. let's talk about the Nintendo Direct real quick. So we're not going to sum up. We're not going to talk about all about the news. I mean, obviously, there are lots of places you can go to see the Nintendo Direct news.
Like Nintendo.
Yeah. So we're going to talk really quickly about like what our favorite thing from the favorite announcement and least favorite announcement is. So, Brock.
Yep.
Was there anything at the Nintendo Direct that they announced that you're excited about?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And Luigi's Mansion's back.
I can't wait to, have to be under the thumb of Tom Nook again, and
Really?
have him like constantly trying to like repossess my home.
Honestly, I'm just excited they announced something else so people will stop talking about fucking Smash on my timeline all the time.
Oh god, yeah.
I do not care
Or
about Smash.
literally anytime there's a Nintendo Direct, your entire timeline is filled with where the fuck is Animal Crossing?
Yeah, who's the next Smash character?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but sure, that's what we really needed, another game where like you collect bugs, I guess.
I should preface with the listeners with the fact that you don't hear Drew and I talk about Animal Crossing that much because neither of us really like Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing is a great, horrible game.
It's all right.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's also not good.
It's like you can play Animal Crossing or you could play Stardew Valley, which is like a huge evolution of that sort of like style of game, right? Or you can play, I don't know, Harvest Moon, which is not as good as either of them.
Well, it's also a different... Harvest Moon is very different from Animal Crossing because Harvest Moon's all about managing your farm and being a farmer, whereas Animal Crossing is like, hey, the town exists without me and moves on with its life without me, but I'm going to go collect bugs because I feel like making money for myself to pay back to Tom Nook.
See, that...
You can't fuck in Animal Crossing, which is a big thing for me.
What? You're a child in that
You
game.
can't date anyone.
Yeah,
Well, why is the child living alone?
That's why...
we don't know he's a child.
Well, why is he living with a bunch of bird people that talk?
I don't know.
Why is any of this shit happening? Why are people paying so much money for bugs that you find on islands? I kind of feel like this game is just a microcosm for like the problems with the animal parts market. Like, what's next? Like, are they going to do like an Animal Crossing set in Africa and you like steal horns from rhinos? Like, it's ridiculous.
Ooh, cool. I like that idea.
Sure, why not?
Okay. I like Tom Nook a lot,
Yeah,
Why isn't he in Smash?
I kind of feel like he's like just like a metaphor for like the modern banking system. But yeah.
Democracy!
That'd be great. In Smash, he just like shows up and locks in your character and there's like a big like dollar bill on your face or something like that and you just can't move because you owe him too much money.
Don't forget, too, don't shut down your game without shutting it down in-game, or else Resetti will yell at you.
Yes.
It's true. I will definitely be picking up Animal Crossing and spending way too much time playing it.
And it's coming out sometime next year, too, so you don't have to wait long.
But Luigi's Mansion's back.
Luigi's Mansion
finally.
Luigi's
Mansion 3, that's exciting news.
It didn't look good, but I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I think it looks better than Dark Moon if you compare the two, because Dark Moon...
Well, one's on a Switch and one's not on the Switch.
I know.
Dark Moon was great.
Yeah.
Dark Moon was great until the very, very last boss fight.
Yeah. And it's the same team that developed Dark Moon, so I mean, Dark Moon, not Dark of the Moon.
I prefer Dark
That's
of
a
the
taste
Moon.
movie.
I don't know what else they announced in Nintendo Direct. That's all I remember.
So there wasn't anything that you weren't excited about?
I think they announced that really shitty character's coming to Smash for some reason.
Oh, Isabelle? She's also from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would ever want to play with her.
I mean, she's basically just like Villager, but with slightly different moves.
Yeah.
That's what she seems like. But she's not an Echo Fighter. She's like her own character.
Yeah, I think that was it from the Direct that I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Drew, do you have anything from the Direct?
Is there a Pikmin game?
There's
Nope.
no Pikmin game.
Then fuck this.
No Pikmin game.
So there's two things I want to highlight.
Well, there's two things I care about in Nintendo, like the Nintendo Pantheon. It's Pikmin and Zelda, and maybe Metroid. Like, those are the three franchises I care about.
And Metroid has disappeared.
They rarely, if ever, give any love to all of those in like any kind of like consistent way. So like, fuck that.
So your favorite announcement was that Final Fantasy VII is coming to Switch?
Yeah, fuck that.
Because
We're getting
for the
all
first
Final
Oh,
Fantasies.
yeah, that's so weird. I saw that and I was pretty drunk. And I was like, no way this is real.
Well,
You're
not-
getting all the Final Fantasies except
8.
why?
Because 8 hasn't been released on anything. That's the problem.
Do they hate
except
8?
Steam? No, I think there must be some kind of license.
We're getting isn't Crystal Chronicles coming back
Crystal
too?
Chronicles is coming back too.
But
Why
it's
not?
also coming to the Xbox. I'm gonna play
Yeah,
Final
well, all
Fantasy
these-
7 on my Xbox.
Yeah,
that is
that's gonna be a
fucking
thing.
bizarre.
with achievements.
I remember playing Final Fantasy VII on my PC,
Right?
like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was weird.
This is super weird.
But you can
I
also
played
play
Final Fantasy 8 through on PC.
But you can play Final Fantasy 9 on your Xbox now, which is awesome.
You can?
Well, it's
It's
part
coming
of it.
out.
Yeah, it's part of it.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
But actually, one of the coolest things about that Square Enix announcement was that a new Chocobo dungeon game is coming, which is like the first Chocobo dungeon game we've gotten
Is it going
since
to be a
the
mobile
Wii.
game?
What?
No,
What?
it's not a mobile game.
A Chocobo dungeon game?
Yeah. So
Why?
so basically, if you've never played Chocobo's Dungeon before,
I
it's
have not.
basically it's a turn-based game where
It's a-
every one of your moves is a turn.
And essentially, it's a roguelike.
Yeah, and it's a roguelike. So each dungeon is completely random,
Yeah.
which is
Nope,
totally
not for
awesome.
me.
And you
Yeah,
play as
no.
a cute little
No.
Chocobo.
It's stupid.
You play as a Chocobo?
Yeah.
Fuck that!
Yeah, it's Chocobo's Dungeon. You play as a Chocobo.
No,
These games were stupid when they came out, and they're stupider now.
Why would you want to be a Chocobo?
Like, also, why would you want to pay like $50?
Because you get to make friends with all the Final Fantasy monsters.
That's no.
Like you can make friends with a bomb, and then the bomb blows up, and then you're sad because your friend blowed himself up because he's a bomb.
Good. The game should blow up. Blow up the Chocobo while you're at it.
So the one thing I want,
Drew and I are giving that one 2 big thumbs down.
I don't know, I like Chocobo's Dungeon. It's a fun game.
Fuck this.
So there's one thing I want to mention, or two things. Town, which is the new game from Game Freak, aka
Yeah.
the Pokemon developer.
Yes.
They have a new IP that's not Pokemon coming out.
And it's not a mother game, so like
For
why?
Switch?
Yeah, it's called
To,
Town.
to developers in Japan go, hey, you know what? People would really love it if we made another one of these games. Like Square Enix, they're like sitting at a table like, hey, we could make another Final Fantasy tactics game. People go fucking bonkers with that. We put it on the Switch. Nah, let's just port all of the old Final Fantasy games that nobody likes.
The only thing good about those games playing them now is they added a fast forward button so you can skip a lot of shit.
Thank God.
Thank God, because walking in Final Fantasy VII is brutal. It's so slow.
If I have to do the fucking the casino, the golden saucer
Yep.
thing one more goddamn time,
I just like dressing as a woman. It's so weird. It's a weird game.
yeah.
The other
Very
thing
racist. Very racist.
the other thing I'm excited about, Capcom Beat 'em Up Bundle, which is coming next week,
That sounds
Oh.
which is a bunch of beat 'em ups. from
Yu-Gi-Oh's
Capcom.
coming to Jump Force.
Yeah, you saw
I'm
that?
finally interested in that game.
It's time
Oh.
to.
I played the demo. It's not good. It is not fun.
Yeah.
But Yu-Gi-Oh, yes.
Well,
Yes.
Do you think we could get Yu-Gi-Oh to play Pot of Greed on Goku? How's that going to
I
work?
assume
Well-
he's just going to play Pot of Greed because he can't fight.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't-
yeah, he'll play cards because basically this isn't Yugi's first time in a fighting game. There was another Shonen Jump fighting game on the DS that's exactly like Smash Brothers. It's called Shonen Jump All Stars. It's a really fun game if you've never played it. It's an import. And in that game, Yugi basically summons the cards and the cards fight for him. It's kind of like Pokemon Trainer.
Does he ever crash into people with his motorcycle?
Well,
That'd
Yugi
be
doesn't
great.
ride a motorcycle.
What about the sidecar?
He doesn't ride any vehicles.
He rides a motorbike.
Doesn't he? Didn't he have?
No, he
some-
rides a horse, but he doesn't ride. a
Yu-Gi-Oh?
motorcycle. Yugi does not ride.
He
a
rides a
motorcycle.
motorcycle.
What
No,
about that
he's
whole,
too
like-
small for a
He
motorcycle.
rides a motorbike.
What happened to the whole motorcycle spin-off thing where they
Yeah,
play cards on the motorcycle?
That's Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which is like 200 years.
That's
in the
still
future.
Yu-Gi-Oh on a motorbike.
but it's not Yugi the character.
Well, I feel like there's room.
I think the Yu-Gi-Oh rode a motorbike.
Yeah, I think they could.
We don't know everything about his life.
I think they could squeeze a motorbike into this.
I mean,
I
he
don't know.
probably did when he was an
He's-
adult, but in this series, he's 15.
Yeah, he seems edgy enough and cool enough to try
Yeah.
to ride a motorbike.
Yeah,
He's-
Yeah.
he doesn't ride a motorcycle. But this means though, there will probably actually be other Yu-Gi-Oh characters in that game because what they've done
Pot of Greed.
with that game,
Yeah.
with the jump all whatever the game is that they've introduced characters in pairs. So they announce usually one character from the franchise and then usually two more to accompany him. Like usually a villain, and then if he has a rival, like Seto Kaiba, might be a character as well. So
I don't know anyone else in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe
well, that's all.
other than Yu-Gi-Oh.
It'll probably be
Pot of Greed,
if they
Blue-Eyed
announce two more
Dragon.
characters,
Blue
they'll.
Eyes White Dragon?
Blue-Eyed White Dragon.
Well, yeah, they'll probably announce if they announce any more characters, it'll probably be Seto Kaiba and maybe Merrick, who's like the big bad guy in season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Here's what I know about Yu-Gi-Oh. Everything that you say just sounds really dumb. Like every time we talk, like I remember watching like 5 minutes of the anime and we're like, this just seems really fucking stupid. Like I get that anime is weird, but Yu-Gi-Oh is really weird. Like really super weird. Like he's an ancient Egyptian that plays magic cards that summon monsters and stuff. And at some point there are motorcycles in the future.
Yeah.
Shit's so weird.
I mean, it's a weird show.
Getting around Egypt is very helpful on a motorbike.
What show would possibly be normal that where a children's card game decides the fate of the world?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyways, we got to move on because we don't have much time left. Drew, we have time left for one more thing, but we got like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, Last Wish?
Yeah.
My Last Wish. So the Last Wish, which is the name of the Destiny 2 raid, just launched yesterday. And world's first. Somebody beat it last night. There were a bunch of streamers that were playing for like 20 hours straight because that's what you got to do as a streamer. And yeah, they beat it overnight. And so if you launch the game now, and you're at like end game stuff, you get a little cutscene that says like, "Hey, like we defeated the evil dragon, but that's what he wanted, and now all the shit's fucked." So it was really cool. It looks like the raid mechanics are really interesting, and really like it looks really tough, but at least like fun and dynamic. So I don't know. I'll give it a try. Probably get really frustrated, but that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fortnite's in its last week. Season 5 is almost over.
So then after that, this is no more Fortnite.
Well, we
Yeah,
get season
They're
6.
gonna shut it down.
Season 6 is coming.
Fortnite
We're gonna finally
is
figure
over.
out what's happening with the cube.
They finally decided that Fortnite is too popular.
I'm level 90. I have 10 more levels to go before the end of the week.
Like
I gotta grind.
Is Fortnite still like a big thing?
It's huge.
Yeah,
Still the biggest
is-
game in the world.
is Ninja still
Call
playing
of,
it?
Yeah, Call of Duty.
Well, that's
just
not true. He was
overtook it
playing
on
Call of
stream.
Duty yesterday.
Yeah, Call of Duty's just taking over right now.
Well, it took over on
beta.
stream because he was playing it.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Because it was an ad. Because he was promoted.
What about?
I'm hearing
are
it's
people,
good. I'm hearing it's pretty good.
Are people excited about the Call of Duty?
Blackout?
There's a lot of people playing the beta.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard it's
A
actually
lot
pretty
of people
popular.
play the beta.
Are you excited? Does
What-
anyone else
I'm not.
care?
The comments I heard about Call of Duty Blackout is it's basically PUBG,
Yeah.
but polished to like the nth degree.
Yeah, it's like a good version of PUBG.
Which is what PUBG
was
needed
good.
polish. Like
Yeah.
when they got that big, what they needed to do was like partner with like some really experienced coders. That was always the problem. Was like they were people that had a good idea for a game, but they were all like essentially people working out of their basement.
Yeah,
Right?
I still can't believe people are playing PUBG.
Yeah.
It blows me away.
It's like it's buggy as hell.
Yeah, but this season of Fortnite has been pretty shitty, so I'm really stoked on a new one because all the characters were terrible. But the cube,
Sure.
the hatch is gonna open. We're gonna blow up Wailing Woods, and away we go.
I don't
There's
know
some
enough
serious
about this.
story in Fortnite. Okay,
Yeah.
there's some real shit
To be
there.
fair, Fortnite's story comes from environmental storytelling, which I can get behind.
I've been playing a lot of the single stories now.
Yeah.
Saves the world.
Save the world.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
Play Fortnite.
we gotta get going. So before we go, Drew plugs go.
I'm at D McMillan on Twitter. That's a thing. That's about it.
I'm Brock. You can
Yeah.
find me at Brock McLachlan, Brockstar Gaming, and that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nothing.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's TURFORD. You can find our website, game-moose.com, where you can find this podcast each and every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time on game-moose.com, as well as your podcast service of choice, except Spotify and SoundCloud. We're not there, but everywhere else pretty much. If you like what you do, please rate us, like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post videos. If you want to find our videos, just go to game-moose.com/video and you can find them there. You can also find us on Twitter at game_moose_cast, on Facebook at facebook.com/game-moose-podcast. And that's pretty much it. You can just go live your life, walk a dog, eat some borrow, all those good things.
Yeah, Sparrow was good.
All right. So for Drew McMillan, Brock McLachlan, this has been episode 139 of the Game Moose Podcast. And we're out.